it was a Tuesday, or maybe a Wednesday. Time doesn't matter when you're waiting for trouble. The ceiling fan is cutting through the thick and heavy air, slicing up the shadows like a blade of despair. A half-empty bottle stands guard upon the desk, reflecting a reality that is purely grotesque. The neon sign outside is blinking red and off and on. Another lonely night waiting for the coming dawn. I checked the loaded pistol hidden underneath the file and practiced my cynical and very weary smile. The shadows from the blinds are like the bars of a jail, trapping me inside this never-ending detailed tale. The dust motes dance inside the single beam of yellow light, the only living things inside the office for the night. I hear the elevator gears beginning to grind, a metal screeching sound that is messing with my mind. Footsteps in the hallway, clicking sharp and clicking slow, approaching the door with a rhythm that I know. Shadows on the wall, waiting for the fall. Silence is a scream in this fever dream. The detective's office, where the broken people go to find the dirty secrets that they do not want to know. A sanctuary for the liar and the thief, where the truth is just a temporary relief. A knock upon the frosted glass, a silhouette in black, a hesitation as if she is thinking to turn back. The doorknob turns, the hinges groan, a protest in the quiet. Her entrance causes my internal pulse to start a riot. She smells of expensive perfume and of danger and of rain, a beauty that is clearly masking agonizing pain. She stands there dripping water on the dusty wooden floor. I know that I am done for the moment she walked through the door. She places a cigarette between her painted lips. I light it with a steady hand and watch the fingertips. They tremble just a little like a bird inside a cage, turning the story to a brand new and dangerous page. I need your help, she whispers in a voice like velvet smoke. I knew it wasn't going to be a simple little joke. She pulls a stack of bills out from her little leather purse, payment in advance to help relieve the family purse. She said her husband was missing. I knew he wasn't missing. He was hiding or dead. I take the money even though I know it is a trap. I'm just a weary traveler looking for a gap. The case is cold before it even starts to get warm, walking directly into the approaching thunderstorm.
Don't look at her. She walks into the room and the temperature drops down low. A kind of chill that every single desperate man will know. The red dress hugs her body like a second skin of silk. She looks as innocent as a glass of poisoned milk. Her eyes are green like emeralds that cut the diamond glass, calculating everything as the seconds slowly pass. She doesn't need a weapon to destroy a human life. She cuts the soul apart without the usage of a knife. The lipstick is a warning sign that glows in neon red, recalling all the foolish things that men have often said. She orders a martini with a twist of lemon peel, and suddenly the atmosphere begins to feel unreal. Every head is turning like a across the floor with a predatory grace, a slight ironic smile upon her perfect face. She picks a target sitting at the corner of the bar, a man who bears the visible and emotional scar. She leans in close and whispers secrets in his ear, confirming every hope and confirming every fear. The smoke from a cigarette is curling round his head. Before the morning comes, he will wish that he were dead. It isn't about money, and it isn't about love. It's a game she plays with help from the stars above. Power is the only drug that gets her through the night, stealing every particle of the available light. She makes you feel like you are the king of all the world, until the trap is sprung and the banner is unfurled. Then you are just a memory, a number on the list, another foolish lover that she never really kissed. Spider in the web, watching the tide ebb, caught inside the stair, handle with care. Femme fatale, the kiss of death upon the lip, a fascinating journey on a sinking ship. She'll love you for a moment, then she'll leave you in the dust, a masterpiece of deception and of lust. Run away while you can. The morning light reveals the wreckage of the scheme, waking up screaming from the beautiful dream. She's gone before the coffee has even started to brew, leaving nothing behind but a lingering scent of rue. The wallet is empty and the heart is empty too. There is absolutely nothing that the law can do. She
lost inside. The fog has swallowed up the city whole tonight. Diffusing every single source of yellow light. The buildings have been erased from the skyline view, leaving only emptiness and me and you. Or maybe just me, it is hard to really tell. Trapped inside this atmosphere damp shell, the moisture clings to the wool of my heavy coat. A silent scream stuck inside the throat. Street lamp creates a cone of hazy gold. A solitary island in the freezing cold. I step inside the circle and I feel exposed, like a chapter of a book that has been closed. My shadow stretches out long across the street, distorted by the angle and the concrete. A giant monster mocking every step I take, walking through the city for walking's sake. Blindness in the nothing really there. Walking in a cloud, wrapped inside a shroud. Streetlamp fog, hiding the way home underneath the heavy and the gray dome. The world is shrinking down to just a few feet, lost on the familiar and the lonely street. The sound of traffic is muffled and far away, like memories of a bright and sunny day. The silence is heavy like a wet wool blanket. I found a bitter pill and I condition, putting the soul into a submissive position. I can't see where I'm going or where I have been, cleansed by the fog of every single sin. I pass a stranger walking the other way. A phantom figure in the swirling gray. We do not speak, we do not even nod. Two ghosts wandering on the sod. He disappears as quickly as he came, without a face and without a name. Was he even real or a trick of the eye? Underneath the low and the heavy sky, blindness in the air, nothing really there.
They know the drawer is open just a crack an inch or two, revealing the envelope with a deadly hue. It sits there heavy on the papers and the dust, an object of betrayal and of broken trust. The photos inside are black and white and gray, capturing the secrets of a yesterday. My mind is racing, trying hard to think, pushing me closer to the crumbling edge and brain. It calls to me with a silent paper voice, leaving me with absolutely zero choice. Ink and paper heavier than any stone. I am completely and utterly alone. I slide the drawer open with a wooden squeak. My knees are feeling water-like and weak. The handwriting is jagged, sharp and bold, a story that can never, ever be told. One word, one lifetime passes by, secrets and ink don't even blink. The blackmail note, a heavy weight of sin, waiting for the nightmare to finally begin. A paper trail that leads to the despair, vanishing into the thin and smoky air. I hear them coming the stairs, the heavy tread. I wish that I was anywhere but here or dead. They know I have the evidence they need. They know that I have planted the bad seed. Sand inside the glass. This moment is the one that will not pass. I reach my hand inside and touch the seal, making the nightmare absolutely real. The lighter flame is flickering in the dark, searching for a dry combustible spark. I hold the paper to the yellow fire, burning the ambition and the desire. My heart is hammering against the ribcage bone, trapped inside the panic zone. The sweat is dripping down into the eye, watching the secret curl up and die. One word, one lie, time passes by, secrets and ink, don't even blink. The blackmail note, a heavy weight of sin, waiting for the nightmare to finally begin. A paper trail that leads to the despair, vanishing into the thin and smoky air. Burn it. Destroy it. Of splintered wood, I did exactly what I never thought I could. The ashes scatter on the dirty wooden floor. They won't be reading secrets anymore. The smoke is filling up the tiny room, a permanent and heavy sense of doom. I look them in the eye with a frozen face. Welcome to my hiding place. The silence rushes back to fill the empty space. I stand my ground with zero sense of grace. The evidence is gone, floating in the wind. The final sin that I have sinned. The drawer is empty now, the weight is in the air. I simply do not have a single care. They search the room but find nothing at all, except the shadows on the wall. One word. Blue notes under the archway of the iron bridge, standing alone upon the urban ridge. A figure in a coat that's worn and old, playing a story that needs to be told. The brass is tarnished, but the sound is gold. A warmth inside the bitter winter cold. He closes his eyes and tilts the horn up high, sending a prayer into the cloudy sky. Notes are long and full of liquid pain, mixing perfectly with the falling rain. A blues that speaks of loss and of regret, of memories we try hard to forget. No audience except the passing car, no tip jar and no brightly shining star. Just music for the sake of music's grace, filling the empty and the hollow space. Echoes off the brick and off the stone, a sound that chills you to the very bone. It speaks of women lost and money spent, of letters that were written but not sent, opportunities that passed us by, of every single tear and every lie. The saxophone is weeping real tears, distilling all the sadness of the years. For me, sing for me, set the heavy burden free, a melody of pure despair, hanging in the midnight. Cuts right through the armor to the heart, tearing the composed facade apart. I stopped to listen, call. I feel a kinship with the stranger there, breathing his soul into the chilly air.
He doesn't care. He's lost inside the music all affair. The melody goes up and then goes down, weaving a tapestry of the town. It tells the truth when everyone else lies, reflected in the player's weary eyes. It sounds like goodbye and it sounds like grief, providing a cathartic kind of relief to hear the sadness turned into a song, to know that suffering is not wrong. The water drips from off the brim of hat. He holds the final note, a perfect flat. It lingers in the alley for a while. He lowers the instrument with a smile, a private moment of a job well done, before the rising of the morning sun. He packs the magic in a velvet case and disappears without a single trace. Cry for me, sing for me, set the heavy The whistle screams a warning to the sleeping town. I pull the brim of my hat deeper, further down. The ticket in my pocket is a one-way ride, with absolutely nowhere left for me to hide. The metal wheels begin to grind against the steel, a heavy and industrial and rhythmic feel. The platform lights are sliding backwards into black. There is no possibility of turning back. I leave the trouble and the debt behind the gate, resigning myself fully to the hands of fate. The carriage rocks a cradle for the restless soul, moving towards a distant and uncertain goal. The passengers are shadows with their eyes closed tight, suspended in the vacuum of the traveling night. Reflections in the window show a stranger's face, looking for a sanctuary and a saving grace. The city lights are strings of pearls upon the ground, disappearing quickly without making any sound. I light a cigarette and watch the smoke ascend, wondering if the journey will ever have an end. Click, clack on the track, never ever looking back. Wheels turn, fire burn, lessons that we never learned. The night train cutting through the velvet dark, a metal arrow flying to a hidden mark, escaping from the memory of yesterday, carrying the heavy burden far The conductor walks the aisle with a uniform of blue. tickets and he punches holes in you. His eyes are tired, seen it all 1,000 times. The lovers and the losers and the petty crimes. He nods at me a silent code of brotherhood, understood by those who left the neighborhood. The rhythm of the rails is like a heartbeat song, pushing us to places where we might belong, or maybe just to places where we are unknown, where we can reap the seeds that we have wildly sown. I see a farmhouse burning in the field alone, a solitary tragedy of wood and stone. It flashes by in seconds, then is gone from sight, swallowed by the hungry mouth of the huge night. We are observers passing through the lives of men, never to return to see the scene again. The motion is hypnotic, putting mind to sleep, burying the secrets that we have to keep. The engine roars a challenge to the empty hill, while everything inside the car is deathly still. Click, clack on the track, never ever looking back. Wheels turn, fire burn, lessons that we never learned. The night train cutting through the velvet dark, a metal arrow flying to a hidden mark, escaping from the memory of yesterday, carrying the heavy burden far away. Ride on. Through the night. The darkness turns to gray along the eastern rim. The chances of redemption are looking very slim. But as long as wheels are turning, I am safe inside, enjoying the duration of the long ride. The station lies ahead, a monster in the mist. I check the name upon the crumpled paper list. I gather up my coat and prepare to disembark, walking from the moving light into the static dark. The train will carry on without me down the line, leaving me to deal with what is yours and mine. The steam evaporates into the morning air, vanishing like hope and vanishing like prayer. I stand up on the platform with my bag in hand, a stranger in a strange and very foreign land. The night train is a memory of steel and noise, robbing me of equilibrium and of my poise. Click, clack on the track, never ever looking back. Wheels turn, fire burn, lessons that we never learned. The night train cutting through the velvet dark, a metal arrow flying to a hidden mark, carrying the heavy burden far away, escaping from the memory of yesterday. Far away.
stand across the street inside the doorway deep, watching while the city is supposed to sleep. The window on the second floor is glowing bright, a square of yellow cut out from the fabric of the night. The blind is pulled, but not enough to hide the show, projecting everything for the outside world to know. A theater of shadow and of silhouette, a drama that I haven't figured out just yet. A figure moves across the paper-thin divide, with absolutely nowhere in the room to hide. The profile is sharp, a woman with a glass. I watch the minutes and the hours slowly pass. She paces back and forth like tigers in a zoo, waiting for a phone call or a rendezvous. Another shadow joins her, taller and more broad. The plot is thickening inside the little ward. They merge into a single shape of dark and black. There is no audio, no terrifying soundtrack, just pantomime of gesture and of attitude. A silent movie scene that is a little rude. Are they lovers meeting in a secret tryst, or enemies emerging from the London mist? The tension is projected on the linen screen, the most intriguing play that I have ever seen. Black on white in the night. Guess the game, name the name. Shadow on the blind, a story told in shade, watching the performance of the masquerade. A mystery without a face, without a sound, while I am standing silent on the The movements get more agitated and more fast. I wonder how long this specific scene will last. An arm is raised in anger or in sudden fear. I wish that I could be a little bit more near. The shadows separate and then collide again, like patterns made by heavy drops of summer rain. Is it a dance of passion or a dance of hate? Deciding on a dark and twisting kind of fade. I hold my breath and lean against the cold brick wall, waiting for the inevitable curtain fall. The taller shadow pushes and the other falls, disappears heavy chest. I've put the silent narrative to the test. Did I just witness violence or a simple fall? Or nothing of importance or of note at all? Black on white in the night. Guess the game, name the name. Shadow on the blind, a story told in shade. Watching the performance of the masquerade. A mystery without a face, without a sound. While I am standing silent on the ground. The light goes out and darkness swallows up the square, leaving me with nothing but the empty air. The screen is blank, the movie has abruptly ceased. The tension in the atmosphere has been released. Or has it? Now the darkness holds a bigger threat. A memory that I will surely not forget. What happens in the dark is worse than in the light. Hidden from the safety of the human sight. I turn the collar up against the morning chill. The window looks so innocent and very still. I'll forgive me. I have sinned. The candles flicker low upon the altar stone. I kneel inside the darkness, completely alone. The stained glass windows are black without the sun, hiding all the wicked things that I have done. The silence is a heavy weight upon the back, a pressure that is threatening to finally crack the armor that I wear throughout the busy day. I come here in the midnight hour just to pray. Or maybe not to pray, but just to speak the truth. To find the lost and innocence of vanished youth. The echoes of my footsteps ring around the nave, looking for a salvation that I crave. I whisper to the shadows and the wooden pews. I've got nothing left to lose and pay the dues. The secrets that are rotting in the heart inside need to be released on the receding tide. I hurt the one I love the the most, I told a lie. I watched the hope and light begin to slowly die. I took the money and I ran away from home, destined by my actions to forever roam. The guilt is like a stain that will not wash away. Luggage made of lead, a conversation with the living and the dead. Listen to me now, I make a solemn vow to speak the words of pain and cleanse the heavy stain. Midnight confession spoken to the air, a desperate and a solitary prayer. Can anybody hear me in the hollow space, searching for a little bit of grace? The statues look upon me with their eyes of stone. They seem to judge the seeds that I have lately sown. But judgment isn't what I need right now, tonight. I need a path that leads me back into the light. I pour the words out like a river dam that broke, removing all the mirrors and the heavy smoke. The ugly truth is lying on the marble floor. I cannot carry it with me anymore. Is redemption possible for one like me? A ship that's lost upon the stormy winter sea? Or am I destined to repeat the same mistake until the heart and spirit finally break? The air is cold, but I am sweating with the fear that no one is listening and that no one is near, that I am torn
the ship is leaving.
The water is an oil slick of black and green, the dirtiest reflection that I've ever seen. The cranes are standing like the skeletons of beasts, waiting for the famine or waiting for the feast. The fog is rolling in from off the ocean floor, obscuring all the numbers on the warehouse door. The smell of fish and diesel fuel is in the air, a mixture of industry and of despair. I stand beside the bollard with a heavy coat, watching the arrival of the cargo boat. It glides into the harbor like a ghost machine, part of the invisible and dark routine. No lights are showing on the bridge or on the deck, just a silhouette against the grayish speck. The crew is silent as they throw the heavy line, completing the grand and the illegal design. This is the edge of the city and the edge of law, where civilization has a fatal flaw. We trade in secrets and we trade in human lives, and sharpen up the edges of the pocket knives. The money changes hands inside a paper bag, without a signature and without a tag. Business is concluded in the misty gray, before the breaking of the unwanted day. Drifting in, drifting out, without a scream, without a shout, covered by the heavy shroud, hidden from the noisy crowd. The harbor fog, a blanket for the sin, hiding the condition that the world is in. Nothing is distinct and nothing is defined, leaving all the morals far behind. A match is struck, a face is lit for just a sec, a scar upon the cheek and on the heavy neck. I recognize the player from a different game, although he's using now a very different name. He nods to me and kicks the crate across the wood. We understood each other like we really should. No words are spoken, language is a dangerous thing. It has a way of making the canary sing. The cargo is unloaded with a silent speed, fulfilling the demand and the human need. It disappears into the back of waiting trucks, dependent on the turning of the wheel of luck. I take my percentage and I turn away. I do not want to see the light of day. The fog is my protector and my only friend, until the journey comes to its bitter end. Drifting in, drifting out, without a scream, without a shout, covered by engines roar and then they drive away, leaving me alone inside the harbor bay. The ship releases lines and drifts into the mist, as if it never really did exist. The water laps against the piling with a slap. I feel like I am caught inside a giant trap, but freedom is a concept that I cannot buy underneath the heavy and the laden sky. The end. Fade to black. The story has been told. The villain is destroyed, or maybe he escaped into the endless void. The hero got the girl, or maybe lost her too, depending on the point of view of me and you. The plot holes are remaining open and unfilled. The destiny of characters has been fulfilled. The climax has exploded and the dust has settled down upon the cinematic and imaginary town. The camera pulls away into a wider shot, revealing all the details that the lens forgot. The music swells into a symphony of strings, touching on the sadness of all ending things. The actors freeze inside the final chosen frame, immortalized inside the picture game. The illusion is beginning to dissolve and break, leaving us with a familiar heartache. The grain upon the film is flickering and old. The greatest story that was ever told is ending with a whimper, not a bang tonight, fading slowly into the projection light. We suspend our disbelief for just an hour, giving the director all the magic power. But reality is waiting outside of the door. We cannot stay inside the movie anymore. Roll the credits, list the names of who played the silly games. Lights go up, curtain falls, emptying the hallowed halls. The end of the reel, the screen goes white, ending the magic of the cinema night. The characters vanish into the tin, waiting for the next show to begin. I sit inside the darkness of the velvet chair, breathing in the stale and the popcorn air. I don't want to leave the comfort of the dark to face the reality and the question mark. I want to live inside the black and white design, where everything is scripted and is fine, where answers are provided
nothing but the absence of the light. The ghosts have gone back to the canister of steel. Nothing that we saw was ever really real, but feelings were as true as anything I know. The power of the shadow and the picture show, it changes us in ways we cannot define, blurring the rigid and the separating lines. So goodbye to the femme fatale and to the detective.